Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today's video is going to be about my top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes. So far I've been doing a little bit of a palette series here on my channel, and I thought that apart from talking about all of these different categories, maybe you've already discerned it from watching some of these videos, but I think it is very useful to also talk to you about some of my very favorite eyeshadow palettes. And how do I determine what is a favorite? I think that asking myself the question, would I repurchase this if I lost it, if it broke, if I used it up, if any of that would happen, would I go out actively to try and repurchase this palette? And for all 5 of these, the answer is definitely yes. These are my top 5. Some of these are my most used, or just, whatever I do with these, the look always comes out great. So I love these for different reasons, but I've decided to pick 5 eyeshadow palettes that I think are my absolute favorites. And we're gonna start with the smallest one, and that's this very shiny number. And this is a Stila palette. And these Stila palettes, I think, don't really get a lot of hype. A lot of people don't really seem to like them very much, but I purchased mine in Spirit, and I just have to say, I really like this palette. I don't use it as often as I think I should. This is what it looks like. I also talked about this in my mixed palette overview because it has some cooler tones as well as some warm tones, which to me just makes this palette super versatile. And this is one that I could travel with. It doesn't have a lot of mattes, which I think is one of the reasons why people don't like it, but it has all the mattes that I personally need. And yeah, it just has a couple of very unique shades as well. It has Kitten, so if you were to look, if you want to look into trying that, then this little palette is definitely something that works very well. I also really like how small this is, how handy it is to use. This isn't overly bulky, and yet you get all the shades that you could possibly need to create a fairly neutral makeup look. Now, a palette that very much works in the same vein as that one is this. This is the Tartist in Bloom by Tarte. And I've raved about this also in that mixed undertone video that I did. And this is what it looks like. It has a cool, a neutral, and a warm tone row of shadows. This is definitely a foolproof eyeshadow palette to use, because what you do with these is just, you could take each row and just have a look ready for you. You don't really have to think about it. This is one of my favorite palettes to pull out if I'm in a hurry and I don't really know what I want to do. Oh, I'm blinding you there. So if I don't really know what to do, then I just grab for this, and this is one that I absolutely love. It just has a couple of great shades, and you can tell that I've used this a lot because some of the print that is in these shades has definitely already rubbed off. And yeah, this is definitely one that I will continue to use, and this is such a great palette also if you are at a school or in a work situation where you can't wear too much makeup. This will do everything, and it can take you from day to night. Another palette that I think needs a lot more love is Lorac's Pro 3 palette. If you are fair-skinned, I have to say, if you are darker skinned, then this is definitely a palette that is a little bit murky and muddy on you. However, if you're fair-skinned, then these are all of the shades you could ever want. It has some warm transition shades as well, but clay is a little cooler, and then terracotta is a little warmer. So you do have a little bit of variety here. This to me is just a perfect neutral palette. Again, like the Tarte palette, every look I do with this always works no matter what I try. And this is just very versatile for me. And it's one of the very few palettes where I like using the darker shades as well. Because that's quite exceptional for me, because I think it makes me look a little bit, it looks a little too stark against my skin tone sometimes. However, it has a couple of great light shades too. I like some of these shimmers here. It has this like plummy shade, which is really stunning on the lower lash line. This is just a palette that I just would repurchase if I really ran out of it. And since Lorac is a formula that is very powdery, so it has a lot of kick up, so you waste quite a bit of product, and these palettes don't come with a lot of product, I think that I will definitely have to repurchase this at some point in my life. Now, where would we be with one of my OG favorites, the Urban Decay Naked 3? This is again one that not everybody loves, and I absolutely adore this palette. This palette has all the rosy tones that a person could possibly need. This is definitely something that pulls very pink, so that has to be flattering on you. But why I love it so much is that this has a couple of shades that I will always reach for. I do have to say that I tend to go to this palette nowadays for just 1 or 2 certain looks. that I like to do with this. It's not like the Tarte or the Stila or the Lorac where I can just throw it on, it will look good. I definitely have to be a bit more careful about how I use this, but this is one where some of the shades are actually looking like I might hit pan on them soon. Trick, for instance, right here has a big dent in it because I just use it so many times. And one of my recent favorites, let me see if I can find it, is this one here. That's a taupey color called Mugshot, and that is a stunning one shadow look. And yeah, I just really like this palette because of that. And then last but not least, I definitely also wanted to show you my favorite cool tone palette, and I think if I have to pick a favorite cool tone palette, it is definitely this. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons. I have mentioned before how I think that the packaging of this is just not my favorite. It's just so kitsch and just not something that I love. However, when I got this, this is one of the very few palettes that I bought after years of umming and ahhing about it, and that I was like, why didn't I buy this sooner? Because this is absolutely stunning. This has all the cool tones I could possibly need, plus a couple of fun pops of color. And I think that in terms of a cool tone palette that has some versatility, because I think a lot of brands do very bland cool tone palettes. Either they have too many cool toned colors that it's not neutral enough, or if it's very neutral, then it doesn't have the variety. And I feel that this has both. So that's why this would be my favorite cool tone palette. So those are my 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes of the moment. Of course, as time progresses, more and more palettes will come out. So I'm not sure how fixed this list actually is. Maybe some of these will be dethroned in the future, who knows? But for now, I'm just very curious. What is your favorite eyeshadow palette? Or maybe you have multiple ones like me. And yeah, I really would like it if you could like this video because it would help me greatly if you could thumbs up this video. And please subscribe because I make new videos every single Thursday and Sunday. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye!